Today we're going to do these 5 very quick but very cool text animation using Adobe Animate. Please don't forget to subscribe my channel, hit the like button, and set the alarm for my latest video. Then let's get started. Okay, so text animation number 1. So let's watch first. Spinning, fading in, and scaling down. Okay, so let's create a new document. Just a 640 by 480 pixel height and 30 frame rate and HTML5 canvas. Create it. Okay, so first, let me type the text. I'm going to type the action. I'm going to align to stage, center, and center. And you can just animate it, but this is my habit. Normally, I just break apart twice so I can use it as a graphic. Okay, then highlight the 1 second mark and insert the keyframe by clicking this button. Insert the keyframe. Then hover your mouse cursor somewhere in between, anywhere. Hold down the control or right click and create classic twin. Okay, so nothing's happening yet. On the first keyframe, highlight the first keyframe in your properties panel. I'm going to rotate it either clockwise or counterclockwise. Clockwise, just once. So this happens. I want to give some more kind of dynamics. So on the first keyframe is highlighted. And let me increase this ease option to 100. You will see the difference. See? It's getting slower. Okay, let's do one more thing. On the first keyframe, on my first keyframe, open your transform panel. I'm gonna make it bigger, like a 300%, 3 times bigger. And the color effect, let me change the alpha value and down to 0. So eventually this happens. Okay, now select the layer 1. I'm gonna have a multiple copy, 9 more copies. So hold down the control key or right click, click on your layer and duplicate layers. I will keep doing it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so this is happening. So everything, all of the 10 layers are happening in the same timeline. So what I'm going to do is, from the second layer from the bottom, I'm going to move it to the right just one more frame. The whole segment. Select the third layer from the bottom. One more. Next. One more. Next. One more. Next. One more. Until the top layer, the 10th layer. Okay, so I'm done. Let me rewind it and let me play it. See? Isn't it cool? Okay, so text animation number 1 is done. Then number 2, watch. It's revealing. It's pretty cool and it's pretty easy. So let me create a new document for my second text animation. All the same settings. I'm going to type the same word. Action. Alignment. Center, center. And break apart twice. Okay. Now I'm going to use the just 1 second duration. So let me highlight the 1 second mark. I'm not going to animate this text. So at this time, keep pressing the button, this frame button in your timeline and choose the frame. So we can just keep it from the 0 to 30 frames. Now, create a new layer on top. And then I'm going to draw one rectangle, but it needs to cover my whole text. So what I'm going to do is, let me change my field color to any color is fine. I'm going to draw it big enough to cover my entire text. Okay, now highlight the frame number 1 and the frame number 30, which is 1 second mark. Insert keyframe, not the frame this time, keyframe. Now hover your mouse cursor somewhere in between on this top layer. Hold down the Control or right click and create classic twin. Okay, so on my first keyframe here, I'm gonna move this up just like that. So this is happening. Okay, so we are now almost done. And then select the top layer, hold down the Control key or right click and choose the mask. And watch. See? Okay, so number 2 animation is done. Number 3. Watch first. It's pretty cool. It's one of my favorite. Okay, let me create a new document. All the same settings. I'm gonna type, let me choose my red text color. I'm gonna type the same word. Action. And alignment, center. I'm going to break apart. And then, since we're going to animate the individual letter separately, what I need to do is, under Modify menu, Timeline, Distribute to Layers. So now each letter has the individual layer. Now let me break apart as a graphic. Okay, now highlight the frame number 10, all layers, insert the keyframe. Okay, now select entire layer, the whole layers, and then hover your mouse cursor somewhere in between. Hold down the Control key and click and create classic twin. So nothing's happening yet. And then on frame number 12, all the layers, hold down the Shift key and click on the bottom layers on frame number 12 and insert another keyframe. Let me zoom in a little bit. So it will look like this. Okay, now I'm gonna change it one by one. From the letter A, highlight the frame number 1 and open the transform panel. I'm gonna make it very small, 20%. And also I'm gonna change the color effect alpha value down to 0. So it's gonna be fading in and getting bigger. See? Just like this. Excuse me. And on your second keyframe, I'm gonna make it slightly bigger, this time 120. So watch. So this happens. I'll repeat the same steps for each letter. For my second letter C, open transform, make it smaller first, 20%, and the alpha value down to 0. And then on second keyframe, open the transform, make it slightly bigger, 120%. Okay. Next letter T. Open transform, 20% smaller, and alpha value down to 0. And on the second keyframe, on letter T, open transform, make it bigger, 120%. So I'm entering the same value so I can keep the consistency. Next letter I, open transform, 20% smaller, alpha value down to 0. On my second keyframe, transform, 120% bigger. Now, next letter O, open transform, 20% smaller, and the alpha value down to 0. And then on the second keyframe, open transform, make it slightly bigger, 120%. The last one, N, open transform, 20% smaller, alpha value down to 0. On the second keyframe, open transform, and make it slightly bigger, 120%. So it's done. Watch. See? But as I showed you, I gave a kind of little bit different timeline. So on letter C, I'm going to select the entire layer, move it to the right just 1 and 2. 2 more frames. On next letter T, 1 and 2 more from there. Next letter, 2 more frames. And the next letter, 2 more frames. And the last one, 2 more. And watch. It's pretty cool, but at the end we only see the letter N because you see that they're all gone. So highlight the frame number, the last keyframe on the next letter, the second letter, O. Hold down the Shift key and highlight the same numbers, same frames, and then insert the keyframe so we can keep everything. So watch. It's pretty cool. I like it. It's like a wave. Okay, so number 3 is done. Now number 4. Watch first. It's pretty cool, isn't it? Okay. Let me create a new document. 640, 480, all the same settings. Create it. And let me type. This time I'm going to use just a white text. White. Let me type the word action. Let me change the text color again to from here, white. Okay. And let me break apart twice. Break apart as a graphic, break apart. And then, before we do something, we're going to convert this graphic as a movie clip symbol because I'm going to use the filter. Filter in Animate only works with movie clip symbol. So, in your properties panel, you see that little kind of clover things. So this is a button so you can convert your graphics to a movie clip symbol. So click on it. Symbol 1 is fine. Make sure type is movie clip. And OK. Alright. Then now, in the bottom of the properties panel, you will see the filters. Filters. Click on this plus button, add filter. I'm going to use a drop shadow. Okay. And then I'm going to set the angle to like, let me type 125. Just like that. Okay. Now, highlight the 1 second mark. Insert a keyframe. Then place your mouse cursor somewhere in between. Hold down the control and click and create classic twin. So nothing's happening yet. What I'm going to do is on my second keyframe, which is on frame number 30, I'm just going to change my filter settings. So now click on your action text on your stage. Now you're going to see this, the drop shadow options. I'm going to change the angle to 45. And watch. Play. See? So it looks like the light source is kind of moving. The shadow is moving. So it's pretty cool. So number 4 is done. Number 5, text animation. Let's watch this first. So it is pretty similar to my intro video. Let's watch again. Okay. So let's create a new document. All the same settings. create it. So first I'm gonna type the text action again. I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller like that, and then let me modify break apart twice, and then also since I'm going to apply a kind of filter, so I'm going to convert it to a movie clip symbol like we did. Make sure your type is movie clip. Name anything. Okay. So first I'm gonna place it on top left corner out of stage, and let me insert the keyframe on 2-second mark, which is a frame number 60. Keep pressing this button, choose the keyframe, then click somewhere in between anywhere, hold down the control or right click, and classic twin. On my second keyframe, I'm gonna move it to the stage just a little bit, not too much. So it's gonna be coming in very slow. Okay, now highlight the text on your stage, make a copy. Let me create a new layer. Let me highlight the frame number 61 right after the 2-second mark, right there, and then keep pressing this button, choose the blank keyframe. So this is the empty keyframe. Then let me paste in place. So I have an action here. Then before we move it, now select your text in your properties panel. You're going to see the filters. Choose the plus button and blur. We're going to blur just to blur X only, like 100. See? This will happen. And then I'm going to move it pretty quick. Maybe a frame number 65. Insert, keyframe. Select any frame in between. Hold down the control or right click and classic twin. On the frame number 65. I'm going to move this blur one to the right, somewhere there. So watch this. Coming in very slow and see? Very slow and gone. Okay, now let me highlight, select this, and let me copy. Let me create a new layer. I'm gonna make it come maybe after 10 seconds. So highlight the frame number 75 this time. Then insert just a blank keyframe, not the keyframe, not the frame, blank keyframe, and let me paste in center. I'm gonna have it on the bottom. Also, I'm gonna make it bigger, much bigger. Like that. Somewhere there. Okay. So from here, highlight the frame number 80 this time. Insert keyframe, because I'm going to animate it. Highlight the any frame in between. Hold down the control and click. Create classic twin. On frame number 80, I'm going to move it. Oops. To the left, out of stage, like that. So watch, coming in, see? Now one more. Let me highlight it, copy this, okay, then insert a new layer on top. I'm gonna make it come after 10 frames. So let me highlight the frame number 90, which is a 3-second mark. Insert, new blank keyframe, then edit, paste it center. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Hold down the shift key. Make sure you use the free transform tool. About that size. Somewhere in the middle. And highlight the frame number 95, insert the keyframe, highlight the any frame in between, hold down the control or right click, classic twin. On frame number 95, I'm gonna move this to the center like that. So this will happen. See? And now I need to have the clear text after that. So what I'm gonna do is on frame number 100, let me insert another keyframe and then highlight any frame in between like we did. Control click, create classic twin, and then at the end, select the blurry text on your stage directly, click on it. Then color effect, choose the alpha down to 0. So it's coming in and fading out. Okay, like that. Okay. So for this one, let me copy this and let me insert another new layer, and on frame number 95, there, let me insert new blank keyframe again, and then I'm going to paste in center. Paste in place. Now let me copy this again, which is this, edit, copy, there, edit, paste in place. There we go. So it is overlapped. Okay. Before we do something, select your text. In your filter, I'm going to illuminate the blurry options. So it's going to be 0. It's going to be sharp. Then let me highlight frame number 100. Insert keyframe. Select any frame in between. Okay. Then hold down the control or right click, create classic twin. So the blurry one is fading out, and at the same time I want to have this sharp text as fading in. So click on your text on your stage directly, then color effect alpha down to 0. So it's gonna be from 0 to 100. See? Let me rewind it and play it. See? It's pretty cool. Okay. Alright, so that's it. So 5 different text animation. Pretty quick, but those are pretty cool looking. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.